This is going to be a fun one. Check this out. Headline of the year. Shane McMahon returns. Roman Reigns gets suspended. AJ Styles debuts in the Royal Rumble. The new brand extension. The Paige and Alberto Del Rio saga.
Ooh, get real.
Goldberg not only comes out of retirement, but beats Brock Lesnar in 1 minute and 26 seconds. Also on this list, Brock Lesnar fails the UFC drug test and the financial struggles of TNA.
Okay. This one's tough because there's a lot of good choices on that one that can definitely, be headline of the year by themselves. Shane coming back was big. I remember, about to change the channel because I didn't want to sit through another 20-minute McMahon promo when I heard Here Comes the Money hit, and I immediately marked the hell out. AJ making his debut, was huge because it was hinted at, but no one was really sure if it was going to happen, and for him to come out early and as soon as that screen said, "I am phenomenal," everyone got it, and the place lit up.
The camera came back to where it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Darn you, Kevin Dunn. Personally, as much as I want to talk more about TNA's financial situation and how it's their own goddamn fault, I'm going to have to say the brand extension because I wasn't keen on it when they first announced it. I wasn't keen on SmackDown going to Tuesdays and being live. I wasn't keen about splitting up the brands again because I thought that we finally had shedded the previous brand extension fully. And I thought the WWE was doing a pretty good job of utilizing all of its talent on 2 shows together and not having to need it. So far, a lot of my concerns have been waned a little bit. I like where it's going. I think there's a lot of more work to do. My biggest problem, again, is, having Raw and SmackDown be on back-to-back nights. It's easy for us because we get all the information and we can talk at length about it,
Yeah.
Because we record this on a Wednesday and we have,
It'd be easier if
pay-per-views
Raw was
from
on 3 hours, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's another problem that they're going to have to work out. It wouldn't shock me if USA Network comes out and says, look, if you want to keep this network exclusivity deal going, you're going to have to cut Raw down by an hour.
I don't think they're going to do that because they're the ones that want Raw to be 3 hours.
Yeah, but if they look at the ratings and how it declines over time, they may change the tune. If you're going to do 3 hours, put the first hour on the network. How about that? But the brand extension coming back and the way they utilize both a commissioner and the general manager, so you have 2 authority figures. On Raw, you have Stephanie, who's still a heel, and Foley, who's a face, and have that kind of, bickering back and forth between the 2, I think helps out greatly. Kind of reminds me of Eric Bischoff and Stone Cold being co-GMs of Raw back in the day. And plus, keep in mind, this is how the company's going to be for the next, couple of years for the foreseeable future. Having, distinct brand separations and not having SmackDown leak over to Raw like they did during the waning years of that one, while still having a quote-unquote brand separation. So the fact that they decided to bring it back and the fact that, they legitimately made it feel special with the live draft and having, an actual draft instead of a draft lottery. And finding a good way to work it out, considering how Raw was 3 hours and SmackDown was 2, how they worked out the rounds on that one, I thought, worked out well. I'm still not 100% convinced it's the right move, but I do see where it's going, and I'm curious to see how it continues to evolve from here. But in my opinion, that's number 1.
Oh, man. It's, you never really think about how many things happen in 1 year until you put it all down there. I mean, Shane returning legitimately gave me chills. I was not prepared for that one at all. I couldn't believe he was actually back, because I had heard nothing on it, and he just showed up randomly. Brand extension, I never thought we'd see another brand extension again. I'd always, fantasy booking, I think we should split the brands and do this and do that and do that and utilize this person. And then they actually announced it, and I was like, oh, okay, and...
Random. I found out on Facebook before they even said anything on TV.
I was just hearing rumblings about it, and I was like, because
Yeah, it wasn't even so much a rumor mill on like the dirt sheet sites. They just basically Shane and Stephanie put out like a minute-long video on WWE.com just announcing SmackDown's going live and moving to Tuesdays. Oh, we're bringing back the brand split, and it's just like, where did that come
That's
from?
a lot of process in like what 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. It was not that long. It was just them in front of the SmackDown logo on a green screen announcing the time change and filling in. Yeah, we're splitting the brands, and the leader of the brand should be a McMahon, but which one? Mystery. But yeah, they just basically, and then when Raw came on the next week, they just basically announced it casually. Oh, don't forget about the brand split coming up when SmackDown goes live in so days. We'll be having a live draft. It's like, you guys are doing this right before a pay-per-view too. I mean, guys, come on, we need to process this a little better.
Goldberg returning was definitely something if you asked me a year ago, I would have said no, I don't think he's returning. But with the video game and everything, I thought the writing was on the wall a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like Sting.
I think he's coming back.
Brock.
I was more taken aback by him defeating Brock Lesnar in like a minute and a half. Jury's still out on that whole situation for me. I don't know where it's going to go. You know, Goldberg's in the Rumble. Where's he going to go from there? But for me, I'm going to say the headline of the year had to be AJ Styles showing up at the Rumble. To me, when we got back together last week, I just made an offhand comment to you guys about how weird is it that we're saying WWE Champion AJ Styles.
Yeah.
I never thought that he was ever going to be in WWE when we were doing this podcast years ago, and they asked him, you know, he said he had no interest, he didn't think he'd be used well. He's a TNA guy, that's who he is, that's the company he's for. And when he showed up at the Rumble, I remember always rumors, you know, that never panned out, and AJ Styles showed up at the Rumble, and I was like, AJ Styles is at the Rumble. And just to see his run thus far, everyone was like, well, they're going to misuse him, they're going to have him lose. He's champion, and he's carrying a brand right now, and he's doing well. And
he's doing phenomenal.
Punerific there, D. And to think we may legitimately get WWE Champion AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe in a WWE ring at some point, definitely excites me. So I'm going to say headline of the year for me is AJ Styles showing up at the Royal Rumble.
Oh boy, it's going to be a 3-way tie, because I'm not budging on this one. It's got to be Goldberg.
Okay.
Especially after, I told you, after that panel I went to at Comic-Con in Kentucky last year, I never thought, especially after what he had to say, I never thought in a million years Goldberg ever be back. Let alone just kicking the crap out of Brock in a minute.
Oh yeah.
In a minute 26 seconds. Because after I saw the jackhammer hit after the second spear, I was like, oh my gosh, this is one. There's a Brock's gonna kick out. 3! Oh crap! I'm by my house. I'm in my house jumping around. I'm screaming, Goldberg just kicked Brock Lesnar's ass! Goldberg just kicked Brock Lesnar's ass! Oh my gosh!
Oh my god, we're gonna have to start doing like live reactions to pay-per-views.
we're legitimately gonna have to get together and watch a pay-per-view together.
Yes,
4 hour commentary. Do it for WrestleMania.
So that's a 3-way tie. So it's going to be. What did you pick, Casey?
I picked the brand extension.
Okay, so we got the brand extension. We've got Goldberg, and we've got AJ freaking Styles.
Alright, so we're going to have to break the trophy into 3 parts, and...
Yeah, we'll do it like they did the women's title at one time with Lay Cool, but
there we go.
In 3 parts. So.
I want the centerpiece for AJ.
So you want the abs?
Yes.
Alright. Comeback of the year. Seth Rollins, Chris Jericho, Goldberg, Rhino, Shane McMahon, and Matt Hardy.
It's not going to be Matt Hardy because I'm telling you, the guy's high as a kite. He took one hit of whatever Jeff had hidden and just hasn't come back down yet. That wants to be some powerful LSD.
He's probably on stimulants and depressants.
You got to give it to Goldberg for the exact reasons you just mentioned for your story of the year. Goldberg, I'm pretty sure it was originally, just a deal he signed with 2K to be in the new WWE game. And then, of course, Vince McMahon and the writers start flirting in his ear a little bit. It's like, hey, you can come in and do a couple of stuff. If you just want to do like a promo in the ring, that's fine. But if you want to do a match, we'll work with you and whoever you want to face. And obviously, beating down Brock Lesnar, whose only offensive move was just a push into the corner. And, hitting with that spear, then the second spear.
On top of that, he got shoved on his ass.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way the storyline is for it, too, Brock's ribs are cracked. He cracked Brock's ribs
Paul
immediately.
Heyman's crying in the promo.
He cracked Brock Lesnar's ribs immediately, hyping the power of Goldberg even more, even though he's trying to make an excuse and make Brock the sympathetic party. Still, a minute 26.
And that's
a guy who hasn't wrestled in 12 years. I mean, granted, it's wrestling, it's fantasy, it's booked, it's staged.
It's a television show,
It's booked and staged, but still, you look at any of the live reactions on YouTube of that moment, and people, jaws dropped, hands in the air going, what the fuck just happened? Literally, that's something that no one expected.
Mm-hmm. And this is probably what they should have done with Goldberg on his initial run, but they had Triple H in there.
Oh yeah,
that's
what you get for picking Raw. Have fun. But yeah, no one, people, even if people were expecting something of a squash match, they were not expecting Brock Lesnar to be beaten down that quickly.
I think they would expect it the other way around if it was a squash match, just because of the age and how Lesnar performs.
Yeah, because keep in mind, Goldberg is turning 50 in a couple of months. He's, gray beard, only was in the game and only did it, so his wife and son could see him wrestle. No one expected him to win that match, let alone it to only be a minute and a half long and for him to beat down Brock Lesnar. Keep in mind, Survivor Series ended at, 10:20? And usually that show goes past 11. And that just certifies, the legitimacy, so to speak, of, the booking of that. Because that's something that no one expected. People were expecting, there's still a half hour left in the show. Someone's going to have to run in, or there's going to have to be some kind of interference or something.
That added to the real fight feel of it. Because in a real fight, I mean, it can end at any point.
Yeah.
So, and that was that. He shot his best shot.
Yeah, so it definitely, you got to give him comeback of the year simply because no one expected it. It's been over a decade since he last wrestled. He's been doing car shows for the History Channel in that time. And
he was perfectly content with not wrestling. He even said, that part of my life is over. It was great. But.
If he wanted to be wrestling, he could be an announcer or even just a manager.
And he was an announcer for, UFC bought this promotion. That's what Brock was initially. It was Elite XC. It was on Showtime.
Oh, that's right.
And Goldberg was an announcer for them. He loved him some Brock Lesnar because they're actually they're cool. Outside of the business. So.
Oh yeah. They talk apparently at least once a month, if not more than that. So, but still, and that just goes to show, not many people know that outside of the big circle that search several dirt sheet sites a day looking for information. So it definitely no one expected that moment.
I'm gonna have to go Goldberg too. Honestly, Shane returning. You saw some headlines for. No one else generated the type of headlines Goldberg did when he came back, and then the night after Survivor Series, that morning, that's all you saw.
Oh yeah.
Goldberg defeating Lesnar in a minute and a half.
Because keep in mind, we know ESPN has a relationship with WWE these days.
Yeah.
But when Sports Illustrated and Fox Sports and Sporting News, they're all talking about it. Obviously, because Brock Lesnar's UFC career.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're capitalizing on that. But still, when the top story of all sports media is a pro wrestling match.
Yeah.
That definitely, raises a lot of eyebrows.
And it's just like two giant stars. You don't get any better than that. And what kind of nostalgia kick did you guys get when they're knocking on Goldberg's door for him to come out and everyone's
I
chanting
go-
Goldberg.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait for the show to be over so I can watch some old Nitro. I mean, are you kidding?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Goldberg too. By all the, for all the reasons I mentioned in the previous award we gave out. Goldberg's just a man. This is a complete 180 from. I mean, I know it's only been one match and probably one or two appearances. Maybe was it 3 before the pay-per-view happened?
He showed up on Raw a couple
Yeah,
times.
he showed up on
but
Raw
he didn't
twice.
have a match.
He showed up on Raw like twice, and the pay-per-view happened, and he showed up on Raw again after the pay-per-view. So he's been on Raw, he's been on television a handful about 4 times.
4 or 5.
4 or 5 times, yeah. And I know it's only been 4 or 5 times, but this is a complete 180 from his original run.
Yeah.
And more power to Goldberg for that one, man, because I'm telling you, I never would have thought he'd be back.
Yeah.
There's just some guys you can look at and really say, yeah, they're never coming back. But then I kind of did feel the writing was on the wall because he was in the video game, but he was in another video game, but he was, he wasn't back. But
Yeah.
when they made a big deal,
when
deal
they did a
about
commercial for it.
it,
And,
yeah, because I saw it happen with all the other 2K games. Like, I said Brock would never be back because his UFC career was on fire at that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they put him in WWE 12. He shows up like the night after WrestleMania. WWE 13. I don't remember who came back in that one. Was it Rock?
Might have been.
Might have been Rock. I don't remember. It might not have been anything. But for 2K14, it was Warrior.
Yep.
Warrior came back. Then 2K15 was Sting.
Yeah.
And now it's Goldberg. And then I can even go back to like 2006. They put Bret Hart
Oh, yeah.
in SmackDown versus Raw.
Oh, yeah.
He goes into the freaking Hall of Fame, and he speaks at the Hall of Fame. And then after that, a couple years later, they finally settled the deal, and he's on good terms with WWE. Now, I'm not sure about that now because Bret Hart talks a lot of trash these days, but I think it's just he just doesn't care. I wouldn't even.
Now it's all Rollins' fault.
But yeah, Goldberg, comeback of the year, easy, hands down. That's unanimous. All right, this was a tough one for me to even make the category, but here we go. The stable/faction of the year. Not a lot of them these days. Or a lot of credible ones, anyway. So we have the Wyatt family, Sanity down at NXT, the Broken Hardys, New Day, and the Club.
It's not going to be the Broken Hardys, and I've already explained why. The Wyatts would seem to be the obvious choice, but they keep swapping out members.
People keep getting freaking hurt.
Yeah. Sanity's still too new. I still don't know exactly where they're going with that gimmick, if it's going anywhere. And the Club, they were in WWE for a hot minute before the brand separation split them up. I don't consider it a stable per se, but I'm going to have to give it to New Day just because they've been around for a while. They're legitimate champion now. They broke the record. And obviously, they're over as hell. Even when they were a heel and trying to get heat, they still got over. People either legitimately booed them or they got the joke and started to cheer them. And you were touching on that a little bit ago because they originally brought in... The original plan was to turn them into the Nation 2.0. And then Vince kind of morphed them. No, they're going to be preachers. And then they started out as faces, but then they started to annoy the crowds, and they just went with the annoyance. And, you do something annoying long enough, it starts to become endearing.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what happened with them. So just based on, me giving them as much credit as I have already during this show and their merits that they've done this year, I got to give it to New Day.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go New Day as well. They're just the most credible out of all the nominations for the stable. Sanity I enjoy, but they're just so new right now that they really haven't done anything monumental to win. Wyatt family, it's really hard for them to get traction lately. I think maybe with Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, we can get something out of them. But again, it's a new pairing. They just captured the tag championships, but They haven't done anything with him yet. Broken Hardys.
Nobody watches TNA.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that. I don't know.
No, I've seen it. It just pisses me off to the point where if I ever see the Hardys, I'm gonna fucking kill them. I'm just
point blank.
Matt Hardy is annoying as hell. I'm telling you, something's not right with him. And I mentioned my issues of Jeff Hardy.
Delete. Brother Church of Casey.
I'm going to punch you in a second when you don't stop. And I already mentioned last week my issue with Jeff Hardy and what happened at Victory Road 2010 and how I have zero respect for him as a person, let alone a performer.
Casey, he should be deleted. Look at you guys, if you could see Casey's face right now.
He's not having it.
Trust me, I'm definitely like that. It's hard. That's the only reason they wound up in here. Because it's kind of not. It's not exactly stable heavy this year.
Yeah,
and the ones we had, they kind of split up already.
Yeah.
And I really would like to say the club.
Yep.
But we didn't get anything out of that.
No, they formed about a month before the brand separation, and they were
that's
split
when
up.
Head turn, heel turn.
Yeah.
Started happening, but
well, it turned heads. That's for sure.
My pick was actually the Wyatts, only because of the incarnation we have now with Randy Orton. Because I feel like Bray Wyatt is getting the rub from Orton. He needs that, and now he finally has the gold around his waist or around Luke Harper's neck. I'm not sure how they're going to carry the belt, but dude,
I'm surprised they haven't redesigned the belts with leaves and twigs.
But speaking of Wyatts, they weren't, with the exception of Luke Harper, they weren't on SmackDown at all. That was odd.
No, I think they just had the
But
week
then
off.
Yeah, but then again, like I think, like, and I learned this from watching NXT. It's kind of cool not to have the same guys on the show every week.
Yeah, switch it up a bit.
Yeah.
I love that Luke Harper was in the main event as well.
Yeah.
Definitely give the Baldy Wild Man a push.
I was like, you know what? How awesome would it be if Luke Harper actually got the title shot? And like, now AJ's a champ, AJ's a heel. They don't like they do it, but they don't like to do heel versus heel all the time. So.
Yeah, just imagine what it would have been like if he got the #1 contender shot and won the title. Like, what would that do to the Wyatt family? Would Bray accept that, or?
Well, I love the dynamic that technically Bray's the leader of the group, but it doesn't mean that he's got to be the main event push guy. You can just have anyone at any time trying to vie for a championship.
Well, hold on, Luke. This isn't the main event mafia now. Alright, but
that was when TNA was still watchable.
That wasn't watchable when they did that. Not in my opinion. Good lord, that was a terrible stable.
Didn't say it was good. I said it was still watchable.
Barely. But let's see. Stable / faction of the year goes to the New Day. All right, catchphrase of the year. Jericho's on here a lot, so bear with me. Stupid idiot, Chris Jericho. The face that runs the place / the champ that runs the camp, AJ Styles. How you doing? SAWFT Soft, Enzo and Kaz. New Day Rocks. You start clapping, I'm going to punch you. Looking at you in the corner of my eye. New Day. You just made the list! Y2J Chris Jericho. And drinking in, man. Chris Jericho again.
He's a catchphrase machine.
Yes, he
Always
is.
has been, always will be.
Start over. Take 2. CWCW, back in the day you guys screwed up.
I'm going to have to give it to How You Doing and Soft, just simply because how the fans become interactive with it. Because every time Enzo says How You Doing, the fans start chanting How You Doing. Anytime they do SAWFT Soft, the fans channel on with it. And, you know, when Jericho says stupid idiot, it always seems kind of random.
Yeah,
You know, the fans will pop for it, sure, but they're not gonna, chant along with it. To me, it's kind of like the same with Shinsuke's theme. You know, the fans know it's
It has
coming.
to happen organically.
Yeah, the fans sing along with it. So just for the fan interactions, and because I feel that Enzo and Cass do need some love in these awards categories, then I am going to pick Enzo and Cass's for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go soft. And how you doing? Ever since I remember,
I'll never go soft. Oh man.
I remember seeing Enzo when he first popped up in NXT, jobbing out, and he did the SAWFT. I lost it. I thought it was one of the greatest things ever. And it like with the New Day Rocks, that was more of an annoyance thing. It took the crowd a while to warm up to it. Since day one, Enzo debuting on the main roster, they were spelling it out. Like, they were doing it along with them. It was red hot from the very beginning. That just got him over so much. I just think Enzo Amore, as a character himself, is one of the most original things I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know if you guys listened to any of the podcasts that he's done, where he said when he went out and broke his leg, he just wrote for 6 months straight. Just wrote. He's got a book filled with promos. He carries it with him everywhere, and it's just one of those things. You see the dedication that someone has of, if this is a situation, I can't do this, I'm going to do that to make sure I'm more viable. And I mean, he's not a main event guy yet, but he can outspeak 95% of the main roster right now.
Especially since, you know, a lot of the promos are scripted and handed to the superstars right before they get in front of the camera. Yeah. You know, he lets it come out organically. And you mentioned, you know, his character. It's something that feels organic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not... That's something... Like, you see Enzo Amore walking down the street, you expect him to almost act the same way that he does walking down the ramp. You know, that flamboyant, in-your-face style. I don't care what you think about me. This is who I am.
What do we got over here? Couple of haters.
Yeah, you know, exactly. You know, that's what I want to see. I want to see something that, even if it is just an act, and he doesn't act like that out of the lens of a camera, it feels that way. And same thing with Cass too. Cass is kind of, I don't want to say a blank slate, but he can definitely improve a little bit character-wise. But he's rubbing off with the right person. You know, Enzo and Cass are the perfect tag team that you can build up.
And like Colin Cassidy, someone that's been stuck in developmental health for since 2008, 2009 with nothing to do. You pair him with Enzo, he's on the main roster right now. Definitely not as over, I don't think, as Enzo. He's definitely getting the rub off of.
I think he'll get there, though. If you remember when he was doing, you know, singles matches while Enzo was injured, it was partly because they were rooting for him because they were rooting for Enzo. I'm
just hoping that they don't push Big Cass so much down our throats that they say, okay, we're getting you pushed in lieu of getting Enzo, and we're going to hate you now.
Right. Let it happen organically with them, you know. Let them go for the tag team titles, have Cass also go after the U.S. title.
That's overdue, and they need to have a title shot, at least by the Royal Rumble. Not Royal Rumble, I'm sorry, WrestleMania. I'm thinking about the Rumble right now. I was gonna go with, you just made the list just for the simple fact that you know, Jericho got an inanimate object more over than half the roster.
That is true.
Especially what really helped it was when he put Xavier Woods on the list twice, and Xavier Woods sold it like it was like the worst thing that could ever happen in life. But yeah, I agree with every point you guys made about Enzo and Cass. So yeah, the catchphrase of the year is definitely for Enzo and Cass right there.
If that's not the title of Jericho's next book, you just made the list. I'm going to be disappointed.
Well, he's got 3 to choose from.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the next 3 books right there.
Yeah, stupid idiots on the list. A story of my time.
My story it'll probably be The Lion's Tail Part 3. My story of putting people on the list. Well, no, my story of putting stupid idiots on the list. Or something like that.
Because remember when he got, you know...
Jericho, if you use that, you owe me money. It's on record.
When he was feuding with CM Punk, he was saying that he was the best in the world. He named his next book Best in the World of What I'm Not Sure.
Yeah.
So he can definitely take Stupid Idiot or the list and definitely turn that into that. Because the guy's writing all the time. It would not shock me if he had another 5 books.
He's been writing since he first started wrestling. He said on his DVD that came out, which is phenomenal. that he has like a list of dates and matches of every time he's had a match.
Yeah, he keeps a record of his wins and losses.
Yeah, he said he's got like notebooks full of these things.
Wow.
So he's probably got probably 50 notebooks.
He probably has a whole bookshelf full of stuff like that.
You know, he's probably had a lot of those so long that you know how notebook pages start to turn yellow because it's been sitting for so long. All right, let's go to some more fun stuff. All right. Breakout Star of the Year. Alexa Bliss, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, James Ellsworth, and Heath Slater.
See, I want to say Balor, but he got injured at literally his first match on the main roster.
That wasn't his fault.
So, yeah, I know, but you miss that much time, and people have already forgotten who Finn Balor is, sadly. Ellsworth, absolutely not. How he has a job, I don't know. Alexa Bliss is a close second, mainly because as much as I think her bitch character is forced, it is effective. Last night's SmackDown showed that. Slater's never going to get any more over than he is now. He's just a lost cause at this point. So I'm going to have to.
He's cooled off a lot anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to AJ Styles because WWE doesn't like to promote guys who were stars in other promotions. They've kind of cooled off a little bit with New Japan, which is where AJ was coming from going into WWE, but he made his name in TNA, and if you look back to other people who have made their name in TNA, Cowboy Chris Harris, you know, one of them.
Wildcat. Oh boy, I forgot.
Wildcat Chris Harris. Sorry,
I forgot about that guy. Poor guy.
Braden Walker. I don't think your face in.
The best.
And Cena keeps referencing him in promos. Have you noticed that? Every 6 months or so, he drops a Braden Walker reference.
You never forget the best.
So yeah, you got to give it to AJ Styles simply because he came in beginning of the year, you know, lost a lot of matches. You know, lost the match he probably should have won at WrestleMania. Even though he lost, I wasn't too upset about it. But you felt like he should have won that one to build some momentum. But now, after his heel turn, he's WWE World Champion, and going into the new year with that, it definitely, you know, shows that you did your job well, and he didn't let, you know, what people said about him in TNA or use that as a crutch. He went out there, busted his ass, and proved that he belonged in the WWE. Didn't have to spend time in NXT, that he was ready to go from the very beginning, and prove a lot of naysayers that thought that he couldn't work a WWE style wrong, and that he deserves, you know, every bit of credit of him as world champion that he's gotten so far. When the only embarrassing thing is you ripping your pants, which was inadvertent, and that's the only bad thing you really have to say about your year in the business, your first year in WWE, that's saying something. And usually, I don't really like, you know, people coming in and winning world titles right away. I usually like them, you know, spend time with the IC title or as a tag team champion.
It's different when it's a guy that's established.
Yeah, but that's what I was about to say. You know, you have a guy who's established as he is. It probably costs, you know, his contract's probably worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, for being a new guy, a quote unquote rookie in WWE. But for him to have the year that he had from the very beginning of the year to now. You know, you got to give it to AJ Styles because he's just, you know, no pun intended, been phenomenal.
I like it. What is this, Breakout Star, you said?
Yep.
Okay. I think I'm going to go against the grain a little bit here and go with Alexa Bliss. The only reason I'm not going AJ's had a stellar year. He is established. He's, you know, had a long career, as you can tell by when he debuted at the Rumble and shows thus far after that. He was known to the WWE audience, whether he was in WWE or not. He already had traction. Alexa Bliss started as arm candy to a tag team. She became more over than that tag team. And they've clearly picked her to carry a division on a brand that doesn't have the strongest of females division. So, and that's only been with a few months since she's been with the main roster, she's already champion. So if we're gonna say breakout star of the year, I would probably say Alexa Bliss.
I'm going AJ Styles, so Alexa Bliss loses. Only for a simple fact that her quote unquote breakout happened kind of late in the game, and AJ's been killing it since he debuted. So I think it's comes down to me late.
Yeah,
in the game.
she's a very close second in my book. But like I said, I feel like her character is a little bit more forced than I would have liked. Like she hasn't just evolved as an actress
Baby
yet.
Trish, man, it's Baby Trish.
Yeah, Trish's heel character was always forced too. So
Yeah,
she's trying to get.
Trish really seems like she's a really nice girl in real life. So I don't know about her being.
If she can come off as a little bit more organic, maybe take some acting classes on the side and really showcase what she can do, because she's great on the mic. It's just when she's yelling at the fans, telling her to shut up, and really trying to be that real bitch of a character. It just seems like it's just forcing just a little too much. It's a Mean Girl style.
I feel like there's a different respect, I guess, for a person that is thrown onto a main roster and building traction enough to become a champion.
Right.
Well, I don't say that AJ didn't do that.
Oh, no.
Back in 2002, 2003, he did.
Mm-hmm.
But he's had a stellar year, but he's riding that traction.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. So, and you're perfectly right. Blake and Murphy, they were nothing until
and when they lost her, now they're nothing at all. They're not even a tag team.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me of something. I mentioned last week about how there was a Murphy in WWE and a Murphy in TNA. Murphy isn't the TNA guy's real name. You want to know what his real name is?
What?
Michael Cole. I'm not kidding.
Oh my God.
Good Lord.
Oh, that award was a breakout star. That goes to AJ Styles. This one is for Babyface, or just face. Well, I'll say Babyface because that's what Stone Cold Steve Austin prefers.
What?
Well, let me tell you something, son. When you try to talk over Stone Cold Steve Austin, you're going to get that ass whipped.
What?
Now, I almost did it. I almost read the awards in the fourth. Take it, Casey, got me out game.
All right.
Babyface of the year. Dean Ambrose, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bayley, and Seth Rollins. I'm telling you right now, my pick is Bayley. It's Bayley. The quintessential good guy, good person, good girl. Babyface. Bayley. 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 I'm picking Bayley.
Okay. I'm going to go with Dean Ambrose. Because... because I honestly, when the Shield broke up, I didn't see him becoming as popular as a face as he is now. And he's ridden as a face ever since. I thought for sure that he would have turned heel by now and started doing off his own campaign, whether it's for a championship or not. Just something completely different than what he's doing now. He's been able to take the unhinged, crazy character, essentially Brian Pillman 2.0, and turn it into something that you can cheer for.
I'm sorry, I do not buy that guy. It's crazy. I can't. He's silly. He's not crazy. He's just silly. I don't buy it.
Maybe that's why people can cheer for him though, because he's just riding that line. I got to go with Ambrose simply because Sami Zayn, he's over with the fans, but hasn't done a whole lot. Shinsuke, as much as I love him and what he's doing in NXT for his wrestling ability, he doesn't really have too much of a character per se. And Seth Rollins, he just recently turned face, so I'm not even 100% sold of him.
He wasn't getting it from me just because he said sparkle crotch. That's up there with Tater Tot. Sorry.
Yeah. If there was a second place, I would probably go to Finn Balor, but simply because he's missed a good chunk of the year at this point, and like I mentioned earlier, that people are already starting to forget about the Demon King. Though, how can you forget that makeup?
I don't like that they call him Demon King.
Yeah, I don't like that anymore.
Especially when Seth Rollins says it sounds like he was saying Demon Kane. Dude, chill out.
Yeah, I think he was going to say that, and then he fixed it, and then they just ran with it. But yeah, I gotta go with Ambrose because he's been a face consistently. He's had something to do. He's always been in a main storyline, and considering how I didn't picture him as a face, even when the Shield was turning face at WrestleMania 30 time, that he stuck with it and done well with it. So I'm going with Ambrose.
I mean, I'm indifferent toward all of the nominations. Seth Rollins, I thought, could have had a great year as a babyface. I thought they handled it horribly by when he came back from his injury, not originally turning him babyface. I think he could be like a mega babyface at the moment, but I think they missed the boat on that. Shinsuke, he's definitely over. It's just, I don't know. He's he's over, but he's not like one of those people I look at and like say, okay, he's a baby face. You know,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not like
He's
part of
over
his character.
he's over for his wrestling ability
Yeah.
and for the matches, but he doesn't have so much of a character
Like,
other than Keener
that's
Strong
not-
style kick to the head.
That's kind of how it should be, though.
You know, I agree with that, but you really don't consider him a baby face just simply because, you know, in order to have that, I'm not saying that he doesn't have a character at all, but it just doesn't pop out on the screen like everyone else who's, you know, fighting for good or evil, you know, black or white kind of thing.
Yeah, I think he'd be just as over as if he was a heel, technically, just facing baby faces. Then we have Bailey, Dean Ambrose. Was there another one?
Seth Rollins?
I already named him. So it was
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
Yeah, Finn Balor. He could have had a great year, but injuries have held him back. He was definitely on his way to having a really good year. So, Bailey or Dean Ambrose?
The decision maker. So.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna have to go Dean.
Oh.
Bailey for me has never been one of my favorite women's wrestlers. I don't have an issue with her just when it comes to the roster of women. She kind of trails. Her gimmick seems a little over the top for me. The whole where she does the
the hug.
Not the hug where she does that to the crowd,
The
like
high five to the
the
crowd.
whole. To me that just seems.
Still better than Emma's arm thing or whatever.
Thank goodness
that was.
Lord,
Emma has
that was
had
horrible.
2 resurgences of her character. Thank goodness.
It just doesn't seem too real to me, I guess. Dean, he's spent the whole year as a babyface. Yeah.
He's been a face since Rollins turned on the Shield.
He's one of the guys that I didn't think anything was going to happen with him. I thought he was going to be the one that was going to drift off. I thought they weren't going to give him his due. But he's been carrying SmackDown as a babyface. He's been one of the top guys on SmackDown. Plus, I mean, he won the championship this year. He's a guy that is a believable champion. And like Dee said, you don't really buy him as crazy, which I don't. There are things that definitely he comes off as goofy, rather more than crazy. But I think he's doing his best to tote the line, and he doesn't have bad matches ever. He's a guy the crowd gets behind, even when he's facing a solid heel that the crowd gets behind. Even in AJ Styles, you do have your Dean Ambrose supporters. So I guess I'm gonna have to go Dean.
Well, babyface of the year goes to the lunatic cringe. All right, heel of the year.
I know you're disappointed, but
Yeah, I think Bailey should have got some love there. Heel of the year: Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Rusev, The Miz, Samoa Joe. I'm eating my vote right now. I told you earlier, Samoa Joe's been the best heel in the company. Period. That guy has been kicking ass. Like, what solidified that as him as heel of the year. Heel's a bad guy for any of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about.
I think they wouldn't be listening to a wrestling podcast if they didn't know
Oh,
that.
you'd be surprised at some of the wrestling fans I come across. And he's gonna remain unnamed, but you're gonna know who I am. Our former colleague of ours, he told me, and this isn't related to heel or babyface. He said, oh my gosh, I didn't know that Dolph Ziggler was Billy Gunn's kid. And I wanted to be nice, but in my head, I'm like, who the fuck told you that? How do you not know these things?
What the hell?
So who told you that? Where are you getting your information? So you'll be surprised at some of the fans,
Okay.
casual or not.
Right.
Oh gosh. Anyway, female superstar of the year.
You're not even gonna let us pick heel of the year?
Oh, you guys picked it, didn't you?
No.
Oh crap!
No, you just went off and said
gosh.
Joe.
Okay.
And you said
Go ahead.
heel, by the way.
Go ahead, you guys. Heel of the year. I'm sorry. I'm gonna repeat it. Chris Jericho, AJ, Kevin Owens, Rusev, The Miz, and Samoa Joe.
We're back here on Planet Earth, D, if you want to join us.
I had to go on that rant about the Billy Gunn thing, and it threw me off.
I agree with you with Samoa Joe, but I'm going to go AJ Styles simply because he started off as a bit of a tweener, went full face around WrestleMania season, and it wasn't until the club debuted when they really showed AJ's true colors. And even when he was a heel in TNA, both when he was with Ric Flair and the latter days of before his departure, I never really bought him as a heel that you could get behind and boo. I do now, and I don't know if it's the difference between the writing or if he finally learned, exactly what a heel should do. But I find him more convincing as a heel now than I have throughout his entire career. And obviously Japan helped a little bit with the Bullet Club, which I think really, cemented that. But I didn't think because he was coming over to WWE and people knew who he was that they were going to turn him so quickly. But they did a great job in the short time he has been a heel, so I'm going to say AJ Styles.
I think AJ Styles made a great heel, especially with his mic work. I think where he falls off a little bit is that his moveset is still based around being a babyface. Like when he did that springboard 450 to Dean Ambrose through the table, that is something a babyface would do. So I think you see a lot of that in his moveset and his matches of where basically you should pretend to do a springboard or to do something and then just
cut the fans off.
Yep, and just to get that heat. But as soon as you do a springboard, a moonsault, anything like that, the fans forget that you're the heel.
I think it's more the fans respect it. They respect AJ, so they're cheering him.
Yeah,
but as soon as he cuts them off, I think it even happened last night. I think they were chanting AJ blah 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 blah, and he said, "Can you be quiet so I can talk?" or something. He said.
Yeah, it's easy to play fans like that. It's just a basic, heel 101.
Ring psychology.
So for me, I'm gonna have to go Samoa Joe.
What a swerve you just did! Just picking up AJ and all of a sudden I'm going Samoa.
Yeah. Way to put him over just to crash him down. Way to pull a Ziggler on us.
Oh. That's gonna be a term now. It's gonna be a thing. Pulling a Ziggler.
He's just he's that beat him up heel. He'll kick your ass. Like he's a believable bad. Anytime Samoa Joe's a heel, he's golden. Like he's a great babyface too, but he does what a heel should do when he's a heel. Just kicking ass, and you don't see, especially in WWE, you don't see those types of heels anymore. It's so like, I'm the cowardly heel. Samoa Joe's just that, if you want to fight, I'm going to kick shit out of you. Like, that's just Samoa Joe.
What solidified it for me was he just completely being a total asshole to Regal. He had the table set up on the top of the stage during the contract signing. And he made William Regal, he was talking to Regal like shit too. He made William Regal bring the contract to him so he could sign it. After he signed, he threw it back at Regal, and Regal didn't do anything. He just walked back up to the ring.
He knows how to play a heel, like 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Psychology-wise, just everything. In the ring, all of it.
And that goes back to AJ and Samoa Joe. Like, those guys, to both be doing the best work of their careers, they are totally dedicated to their craft.
Yeah.
Regardless of them coming from TNA or not. TNA is was not the definition of how good those guys could be, because they were just two really big fish in a small pond who weren't given as many chances to succeed when former WWE guys got signed. And by the way, TNA, if Vince McMahon's done with somebody, he's done with them. So don't think you got to steal because you got him. That's clearly why you're in the hole you're in right now. So, as I drop that pipe bomb on you guys, I pop my collar a little bit. Now we'll go on to, because you guys know I love the female superstars. Female Superstar of the Year. First off, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Nikki Bella.
We'll go let you go first.
Let's see. For me, I think I'm gonna go Sasha Banks. The matches she's put on with Charlotte, I think some of them are really good, especially for female matches, and I think they hold up even against the males. And to take part in main eventing a pay-per-view,
which they said would never be done.
Yep. I think that's a big tip of the hat. And I mean, obviously, Charlotte had some things to do with it, but again, Charlotte's a great performer, but she's coming from lineage. Sasha Banks is not. And I think Charlotte has done a lot for the women's division, but I feel like Sasha Banks has done just as much. And to not come from anything, I think that's a big, to do to her. I'm not a huge fan of the whole hot potatoing of the championship.
Hopefully that stops this Sunday.
Yeah. But she's done a great job of having all the fans behind her. So I'm gonna go Sasha Banks.
I'm actually gonna go Charlotte on this one, simply because you mentioned the lineage thing. You don't go against the Flair. Anyway, I actually really like the way Charlotte has carried herself. Like, she did, if they did, how can I put this? The name and being related to arguably the greatest wrestler of all time in Ric Flair doesn't mean anything. If it did, David Flair wouldn't have flamed out as quickly as he did. Charlotte has shown that not only does she have her father's last name, but definitely shows that she's able to go out and work on her own to get the job done. They wouldn't have put the Divas title on her as long as it was. They wouldn't have made her the first women's champion after WrestleMania in that triple threat match. And as much as I agree with you on Sasha and what she's done, I feel that the WWE can build the women's division more around Charlotte than they can with Sasha Banks. I feel like Charlotte is that one performer that's still young enough that she can grow as a performer, but still experienced enough to that they can just build the whole division, at least on Raw, around her. Either way, the fact that they had her, main event, a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and that they're giving both her and Sasha a 30-minute Iron Man match at Roadblock, definitely shows that, at least on Raw, the women's division is as bad as we all thought it was, in the months leading up to it. But just to kind of go against the grain with you, I'm going to go with Charlotte.
I'm going with Sasha, because Sasha, she's young. First of all, she's younger than Charlotte, and both of them have been on fire. This could have went either way for me, because I was a big fan of Charlotte in NXT, for the simple fact, if you pay attention, she didn't do any of the woo or the Flair stuff, because she wanted to stand out on her own until she got to the main roster. And that's probably more so, WWE saying, okay, we want you to play this up, or whatever. But Sasha...
Get it? She's the queen because she's from the Queen City. Ha, ha, ha!
It's funny how people don't get that. People don't even know what the Queen City is.
Right.
Charlotte. It's her name. That's why they don't say from Charlotte, North Carolina, Charlotte. They don't say that. It's redundant. But anyway, but Sasha, they've both been on the same level.
Yep.
but I feel like Sasha is a little bit younger, and you know, her moveset is more entertaining. She hasn't had a chance to show it too much lately. Maybe when she was in Team Bad, but that's when they were jumbling everything together too much. But
let's not talk about that, please.
Sasha has great range as a heel, and she has great potential to do a lot from either end of the spectrum, whether she's a good guy or a bad guy. And she's just a lot more. To me, she's a lot more entertaining than Charlotte.
Okay.
So I'm going with Sasha Banks, female superstar of the year, current WWE Raw Women's Champion. I put the wrong mark next to her name. It's supposed to be a little pow sign. There it is.
Right.
Bam. There we go.
I'll tell you one thing though before you continue. That 30-minute Iron Man or Iron Woman match, whatever they're calling it, it's gonna be probably the best match of the show. I just don't think it's gonna be the one to end the show with.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
I'm not sure, because I don't know. Wouldn't you want the longest match of the night to go on last?
you would think so.
The crowd
but
would be burnt out.
yeah, you would think so, but at the same
If they
time, I
space
don't think
it
they got
out.
this. I don't think they got the same response with the women's title being the main event of Hell in a Cell to warrant them trying it again.
You know why? Because they had Sasha lose. That's why.
Yeah, it just felt like fans
The
were still expecting something else after that.
The match was last week or the week before when Sasha won the title back that they did on Raw. That got a better response than the Hell in a Cell match because the right person won. When the wrong person loses, when the wrong person wins or loses, it taints how people look at it, regardless of everything that came before it. But
we'll see on Sunday. I don't think it's going to be the one to end the match. I think it's going to be the Universal title.
I'm just thinking, but this is how I look at it. If the Universal title doesn't change hands, which I don't think it will, then Sasha and not Bayley. Who is she facing? Charlotte. That'll end the show.
Oh, we were just talking about both of them. And
yeah. Plus, it's an Iron Man match, and Sasha's been in both of those ladies. So. All right, here's our last one.
Cool.
Male Superstar of the Year. Roman Reigns. Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles.
You almost hit me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Seth freaking Rollins and Dean Ambrose.
Gee, I wonder who you're not voting for based on that. Or is it because you couldn't do any kind of pose?
It's just Dean Ambrose.
Okay.
I was doing poses while I read off the names, guys, and you heard shuffling. Now I'm going to say Casey there.
You could have done the grip thing or whatever. I'm going to go AJ Styles on this one as well, mainly because he had a full evolution of a character in this 1 year. He debuted in January after Royal Rumble as a bit of a tweener, then he evolved into a face, and then he went full heel, did some tag team stuff, did some single stuff, and now he is the face that runs the place, the champ that runs the camp as WWE World Champion on SmackDown. That's his show right now. Say what you want about it being Dean Ambrose, despite not him being the champion. I feel that's AJ Styles' show, and he's literally the face that's running the place. They keep trying to hype up John Cena, coming back in 2 weeks, and how he's hosting SNL and all that. Even when Cena got drafted, I still thought that this was going to be AJ Styles' show, and that Cena was going to be taking a big step back, which is why I was shocked that he was going to SmackDown and not Raw.
I don't need Roman and Cena on the same show.
No, please. The whole thing. I felt that Roman should have been SmackDown too.
No, because you know why? Because with AJ going to SmackDown, their storyline had already concluded. They had just came out of a program.
I felt Roman versus Miz would have been a good temporary storyline. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but it'll probably happen sooner than later. But yeah, AJ just had a full evolution of a character over the past 12 months, and the fact that this is only his first year as a WWE superstar, and not only to go through an entire 180 style of face to heel transformation, but also to end the year as champion, I feel that needs to be celebrated, so I'm giving it to AJ.
I'm going to give it to AJ Styles too, for all the reasons that you stated. Also, because AJ Styles, to me, I remember, he reminds me, the way his heel character comes off reminds me a little bit of Edge. He was a bad guy. Edge was a jerk. Now Edge
was literally the most hated person in WWE. I mean, there were tales of fans literally wanting to punch him when he walked down the ramp.
Yeah, but he reminds me a little bit that Edge was still a bad guy, a heel, but like AJ and like AJ's doing now, he can throw some humor in there.
Yeah.
And you can tell like the character as a performer, he's not taking himself too seriously, but the character is. So if he does something that, I don't know, maybe they're making fun of his hair, he's talking about, yeah, I'm trying to get that shampoo commercial or whatever, that somebody else comes in and cuts him off, like Dean Ambrose, and I ripped the soccer mom hair off her head, this, that, and third. As a character, he's getting upset, but you know, AJ and Edge did the same thing when it came to certain things. Oh, he just knocked over CM Punk, and who was he?
That was
DDP.
The DDP.
Dude, yoga.
Both fingers just fell off of our table. What did you just say?
He's doing yoga.
You had to say that right as I took a sip of water.
I almost lost my train of thought, but man, AJ Styles has been great this year. I feel like he's proved everyone wrong when they said he can't perform on the microphone. Even he proved me wrong because I always felt that way about him, even in TNA, because I was always like, he can't really pull his bad guy thing off because he can't talk. And then he started going. He's not the greatest, but if I had to, you know, give him a rank from 1 to 10, AJ is clearly a solid 7.5 for me on the microphone.
Yeah, I see that.
And maybe 8, depends on who he has to
work on.
Spar with in the ring. So AJ Styles easily, to me, that's superstar of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to go AJ Styles, too. Guys had a stellar year. I didn't even think about it until I think Casey said something about him debuting at the Rumble last year. And it has been almost a year that he's been in WWE, which
it goes fast.
It really did. And to come from almost a year ago of uncertainty of how are they going to book him, AJ's finally here, but, you know, are they really going to do anything with him? Is he going to get his due? And he's transitioned from a babyface to a hated heel, and carrying a brand, just putting on match after match, just everything strong of his. Like, I can't think of anything, not one botch, not anything that he's done in a year's time. And like everyone said, his strong suit's always been wrestling. He's hit or miss usually on the mic, but his current mic work, everything that he's doing, I mean, he's making all the right moves, saying all the right things. I think it's one of those guys where you look at John Cena and you talk about like his great opponents, and I think AJ Styles is one of them. I think
the guy has
go together.
3 awards we gave out tonight.
2016 has been AJ Styles' year.
Yes.
It's been a phenomenal year. Okay.
Pun intended, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, AJ Styles for me.
All right, well that's it for our wrestling awards, man.
Right, so what have we learned this year? Let's add a little bit of effort to have that. What in the world of wrestling, whether it's WWE or NXT, whatever, what have we learned? What has this year brought us?
It's definitely up to the adage of anything can happen in WWE.
I think it's brought change for the better. Women have gotten their due. The tag team division has been completely rebuilt.
Thank God for that, because that was a dying breed for a while.
And we've got new guys who've gotten a chance. AJ Styles, one of them. We got great talent coming up. We got some great talent who should have stayed where they were. But I mean, this year definitely signified a lot of change for the WWE. Hopefully, it continues this trend going into WrestleMania, because you don't want to have another Mania like last year.
Yeah, and I didn't think. I mean, sitting here, I would have never thought the brand extension would be back. The cruiserweight division would be back.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of different things going on. A lot of things that people had clamored for over the years, and we finally got them. So I hope 2017 lives up to at least half of what
you guys want to throw in a future prediction for 2017? I'll give you one that I thought of and felt that it would be a good thing. I want to see a debut of a specialized championship. kind of like the old TV title back in the day. You know how you had to defend it every time there was a TV taping?
Yeah.
Something kind of similar to that, a WWE Network Championship, so that every time that there's a WWE Network special, you have to defend that championship, whether it's a Raw show or a SmackDown show.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That way, it's not necessarily a brand exclusive one, but whoever owns it, they can defend it on SmackDown if they're a SmackDown superstar. But if there's a Raw only show coming up, they still have to go over and defend that belt to whoever has a Raw champion. And I feel that that's a good way to get lower mid-carder guys over and give a lot of people who don't have a lot of stuff going for it, at the very least, get some TV time out of the deal.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because, as good as the idea as that sounds, to me, something would have, another title would have to go for that to work.
No, I disagree.
WWE doesn't need any more championships. We've got, 9 again? 2 world titles, 2 tag team titles, 2 women's championships, 2 mid-card titles, and the cruiserweight title. We have 9. That's a lot of belts in the company. And only way I could really see them bringing back another championship for that to work, it would have to play into. It couldn't really be a network thing either, because it would have to play into filling that 3rd hour of Raw.
The Raw pre-show championship.
Yeah. Stop creating stuff and giving them ideas.
No, I totally understand that scenario of it. The only difference is this would be something that's not necessarily brand exclusive. Like I said, if you're a SmackDown guy and you hold the belt, you still got to go over to Raw every once in a while, at least for the special event pay-per-view stuff, and still defend the championship, even if it's just a pre-show thing. It gives a lot of lower mid-card guys who don't have a lot to do, who need airtime, who are only getting TV time on main event, and not necessarily, doing well. It gives them, potential storyline aspects out of it. And plus, it's a good way to see, quote-unquote fantasy booking, You want to see, if there's a guy on, let's say, it's Dolph Ziggler's the champion, and he goes over to Raw and has to face Braun Strowman. How exactly would that turn out?
Yeah.
It's stuff that, you can get, the little glimpses of, the stuff that we'll only be able to see, at WrestleMania or Survivor Series time when they do those brand, inter-brand matches.
Yeah.
So it's something that, at least personally, I would love to see. I don't think it's going to happen, but if there was one prediction that I would want to come true in 2017, it would be the introduction of something like that. That's not brand exclusive, but can allow a little bit of change-ups. Because if you have a guy on Raw who has to go to SmackDown every couple of weeks to defend the championship and do SmackDown branded stuff, while still continuing whatever feud they had going on Raw, that's a way to get someone that you think is an up-and-comer a lot more exposure and want to see more of.
I think, for me, I'm going to say we're finally going to get a Roman Reigns heel turn. And
please.
I think
that's the only reason his character does not work.
I think Samoa Joe's going to hold one of the main championships on one of the shows.
Before the year's up, yeah. Definitely. I'm going to piggyback on what you said. Definitely.
All right. Well, I guess we will see what 2017 has in store. In a year's time, we'll be sitting right back here.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, I got some shameless plugs.
Oh God! Here we go. Okay.
But seriously, definitely check. I'm D Harris, so definitely check me on the D Harris brand on Facebook and on YouTube, and that's where you'll be able to find some of this content as well as some of my other stuff, as well as I'm a big gearhead as well as far as cars and vehicles, and I have my own car club / team called Team Prodigy 216. Check us out also on Facebook. I do all our videos and photos for that as well.
I don't have anything to plug, at least not yet.
Well,
I'll probably be on this site too once it's done, so here's hoping.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this on iTunes, you can check out popcultureaddicts.com. A lot of articles, reviews, other podcasts up there as well, so definitely check that out. So I think that's it for us this week. I'm Luke Janisko.
Dynamite, D Harris, 52-time WWE champion on the video games.
And I'm Casey Church,
and
one-time WWE champion.
And, and that was your week in wrestling.